Hi. We'd like to do an idea for you that was related to the H2O GATE Watergate Blues.
See how I fly like a catapulted penguin. Incredible a spectacle, a short time to get it in. I soar with grace and ease and luck. The ladies all love how I'm rocking the touch. Not giving a flying what the haters wanna be me. I'm flying right above them, but they can't even see me. Could've been that they didn't expect it, caught them off guard. Didn't think I'd go in so hard. We could ask Judge Wapner to preside on the verdict. He brings down the gavel as he shares what the word is. He said my style's invincible, your style's inadmissible. He stood and pointed at me, said, fuck with it. See, I'm terribly ill. Glass and a pint, you know how I feel. Pour it I might, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new beer, it's a new pint, it's a new day for me. And I'm drinking a beer. Welcome. How you doing? How's it going? How's your mom? And your dad? Yeah. Next installment, the Grizzly beer stories. Yeah, this guy, the Grizz, you know, the pond. Wait, did you see that in the back? Maybe not. Whatever. Just the gentle trickle that brings calm and solace, you know, on this cloudy and cool San Diego August day. Yeah. How you doing? Hope things are well with you. The Grizz is back. Hey now, the Grizz is back. No, I already did one song. Sorry. Yeah, another beer, another story. So, what are we doing this week? Oh, Second Chance. I think we've had Second Chance before, right? Second Chance Beer Company, Fluffy Tangerine Clouds, Hazy IPA, San Diego, California. Let me see. Let's tour the can, shall we? Keep cold, drink fresh. 25 IBU, 7%. This smooth, fluffy, and supple hazy IPA will leave you feeling like you're floating on a cloud. A fluffy tangerine cloud. Second Chance Beer Company, hashtag you deserve one. They're on all of the interwebs, internets. Taste, smooth and creamy with a burst of fresh tangerines. Pair with carnitas, king crab, Kahlua pork, butter pecan ice cream. That's a rather broad set of foods, right? Brewed and canned by Second Chance Beer Company in San Diego, California. And of course, as I endeavor to always support independent, you know. And now we pour fluffy tangerine clouds. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty. That's really pretty. Oh man, that is so hazy coming out of the can. Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, if it wasn't evident from the glass, I do love orange. And this is seeming like it's, oh, look at all that goodness floating around in there. Oh man, I need to get it out of here. I must free you, liberate you from this aluminum. What in the heck is the aluminum falcon? IYKYK, or whatever the kids say these days. Not bad. It's not bad. It's got, hold on. There's tangerine. There is some very pronounced tangerine goodness in there. It's not sweet. It's definitely not sweet like that tiki pineapple something or other. But I don't know. We'll get to that. The story, as it goes, is one of, I was already pretty well established. It's another Navy story, so you know. I was already pretty well established in who I was, what I did, what I knew. You know, I had my things that I was responsible for on the ship, and this was one of those instances that really it really showed me, you know, what a good leader is and isn't. And in this case, it reinforced what a bad leader is, what a good leader isn't. It's like you don't need to have, well, I guess you do. You have to have an idea of what a good leader is to know and see a bad leader really shine like the polished turd nugget that they are. Yeah. So I was responsible for, I went to training for various pieces of equipment, one of which was a radar. If you don't know what a radar is, it's kind of like, it helps you see farther than just what your eyes can see. On the ocean, about 13 miles is the horizon. So you put a radar up on a big metal stick called a mast, and those radars will help you see farther. You could see, depending on the radar and its capabilities and its power, blah, 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 blah. You can see farther. You can see the sky, whatever. And I was responsible for one of the surface search radars, which, you know, made me drink. I don't know. Like the during is really good. Like the tangerine, the IPA, the everything together is really, really good. But then after, maybe I'm just crazy, it feels like somebody took a bunch of orange rinds, you know, ground them up, and then like dragged them across my tongue. I could be wrong. We still have a ways to go. Okay. Anyways, amongst other pieces of equipment that were mine, that were to be my own, that I was to care and tend for like a beautiful electronic garden. So I had to learn what's called, you know, my gazintas and gazaudas. And what that means is everything that goes into my equipment and what should be coming out of my equipment. So, or vice versa, you know, what goes out and what I should be expecting back in. And a radar, I'm sure most of you know, basically what it does. It sends out a ping, and then what comes back gets, you know, you see it on a display. And yeah, and that's what I was responsible for. One day, it broke. Nobody knew why. Nobody knew what was up. Nobody had any idea. And, you know, in the electronics world, on board, and in probably most other technician type places, you know, nobody cares who you are until something breaks. Man. And when it breaks, it's like, I don't need it fixed now. I need it fixed right now. Okay. And then you've got everybody from your immediate supervisor all the way up to the top of the ship, which is the captain, breathing down every neck till it gets to yours. And, you know, I was all about it. I was about it. I loved a good challenge. I love figuring things out. I love troubleshooting, analyzing, all of that. And as I ever have. And so I sat down. I sat down with all of my publications, all of my pieces of test equipment, and what did I do? I started troubleshooting. I started taking all my measurements, doing all my tests, and I couldn't find anything wrong inside the primary piece of equipment, the transmitter receiver cabinet, which was in one room. The antenna, as I previously a couple minutes ago said, it's way up high on a metal stick called the mast. Now, mind you, I was on what's called a small boy, a cruiser. So the mast was, I don't know, maybe 6-7 stories up, right, people? But that's 6-7 stories up from the main deck of the ship. 6-7 stories up from the main deck of a ship is maybe 10-ish stories up from the water. Okay, so if you have an aversion to heights, or let's say a phobia, you probably weren't going to do very well at this job. And that's fine. Sometimes concessions were made. Very, very, very not often though. It's like if you got into this field of work, you better have known what you were getting into. And I love going up. I love going up on the mast. Except for this time we were underway. What underway means out on the water. En el agua. The big pond. Over there. The Pacific Ocean. We were working up to go on deployment. So they said, we need it fixed right now. So you need to do your troubleshooting, blah, 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 blah. So I'm already into the end of, the end of day one. Okay. The end of day one. So there's no going up. It's called a loft. There's no going aloft that day. So I was going aloft the next day. And going aloft while you're out on the water is especially tricky because you're a body. We're made of meat, okay? We are much more fragile than we think we are. The right wave of energy hits you and it could start to cook any portion of your body, and then your kidneys shut down because they're technically cooked, literally cooked. Fill in the blank with whatever else, whatever other delightful horridness can happen to you due to radio frequency radiation. So I had to route the paperwork to go up, and then the next day I went up. I spent, mind you, I didn't sleep that night, literally, because I was still troubleshooting. My division officer, Warrant Officer Schminder, made sure that I stayed gainfully employed while I was waiting to go aloft. So, there was no sleep. Not till Brooklyn, not till Oz Fest, or anywhere. So, yes. And then come sunrise the next day, I had to be ready to go because I was going up. I'm going up! Or I don't even know if that's how the song goes. Friends don't let friends drink and drive. So I go up, and I'm up there for 3, 4, 5 hours, and I've got a radio on, a walkie-talkie, and I drink. No, see, it smells marvelous, and like I said, the during is, but the after, I don't know. And maybe that makes me glad that this is a limited release, I don't know. Is there a way to shut down the tongue after you're done tasting so that the aftertaste and all of that doesn't happen? Can I find some form of meditation to help me with that? Where was I? Right, I was aloft. I was up on the stick, as we call it, as we say. So yeah, 4 or 5-ish hours, mind you. Out on the ocean, if you're aloft, there's wind. The ship is moving, and what's happening while the ship is moving? The engines are still going. Okay, so the officer of the deck had to be very mindful because if you blow stack fumes, the exhaust fumes in my face, it could give me poisoning, it could impair my vision, it could distract me, it could a handful of not so good things could happen. There was a couple times it felt very deliberately, I could be wrong, all right, that whoever was the OOD was intentionally attempting to, give me a nice little 30-40 stogies to the face while I was up there. But I still troubleshot. I made sure to communicate. We did all of the things that we were supposed to ensure that everything up in the antenna was working correctly. And we did. There was nothing wrong up there. Okay, so I come back down and I clear all the paperwork, and we are back to regular operations. Mind you, this is day 2 that I have not slept. And I come down, I run another set of tests on the cabinet, on the primary transmitter cabinet, and at this point, again, I can't find anything wrong. Nothing, not a thing, nada, zilch, zippo, 9, no, not 9, niente is Italian for nada, nothing, nil, right? Nil is German. Anyways, whatever. At this point, I'm on day 2, 48 hours with 0 sleep. And, I'm still cognizant. I'm still capable because I absolutely have to be. And I say, look, I talk to my chain of command and I say, look, there's only, I think, 2 things that can be wrong. The transmission line from the cabinet up to the antenna is somehow faulty, or we have water in the transmission line. Because water, if you don't know anything about wave propagation and transmitting, water reflects everything back, and you can't see. Okay, it's not going to transmit. You'll get everything. Like I said, everything will look normal, will look fine, except for you're not going to see. And at this point, I'm cross-eyed, and I'm like, so that's really the only thing that could happen, Dalai Lama. So how about you give me some for the course? And at this point, my division officer, Schminder, decides to ask for a second opinion. And who does he ask? He asks the guy who used to be in my work center, who he got to help with another work center in our department. And I drank. Yeah, again, the during is marvelous. The after is like the 4th level of heck. It's not tasty. I don't necessarily need the after to also be super tasty, but for this to be the after, I wish I had I should be doing maybe shots of ketchup or something like that to chase this with, which is gross. So Warrant Officer Schminder gets the other guy to come in and start troubleshooting, basically all over again. And I talked to him, and he said, you know what, just go to sleep, go get some sleep, go away. And I did. I before I went to sleep for what felt like forever, and it was probably only 7-8 hours, I spoke with the other dude who I have nothing but love for. I spoke with him and I said, look, man, there's only 2 things that can be wrong. And I told him, and he did all of his stuff. And while I was asleep, do you want to know what happened? Besides, drinking. Yeah, this, again, unless y'all work on getting rid of the aftertaste. I'm glad that this is a limited release. And I'm sorry, Second City. Not Second City. I do love Second City TV. Second Chance Beer Co. I love you guys. You guys have had some good ones, but this one is, the during is great. The after is not. So what happened was, so the transmission line, it's called waveguide. They disconnected it from the side of the cabinet. There is a glass pane, because radio frequencies don't need, there's a glass pane that sealed the cabinet from the transmission line. They disconnected the transmission line right there, and they pulled out, I don't know how many, like 2 gallons-ish of water. So Warrant Officer Schminder didn't believe me. And I did stuff like this. I volunteered for equipment I didn't own throughout my entire time on the ship. And I did my best. And I loved the equipment. I owned the equipment. I learned the equipment. Did that matter? No. Because when I left the ship, he told our captain, who, by the way, if I haven't told you about, the captain who was the captain at the time Warrant Officer Schminder was on board, Whiskey Jim, I will ensure to tell you about in another story or 3. It might be 3 stories to be able to tell you about him. He ensured to tell this captain that I did not have what they call sustained superior performance, even though there was plenty of things I did above and beyond what I was called to do in terms of, being one of the junior guys. Did it make me a little bitter? Yeah. Did I let that stunt my growth? Not really. Because I knew that crusty old dude, sooner or later, would retire and or get his. So I left the ship a little hurt. Maybe more than a little hurt. Because I gave a lot of me, professionally, personally. Like, I poured myself into everything that I did on that ship. And I felt really unappreciated when I left. But yeah, I hope he's doing well. I really do. I hope the teeth that looked like they were gonna fall out have fallen out so that he has more peace. And everybody that was in my work center that was holding their own, like nothing but love for y'all. Clinkety, chink. And I'm gonna finish this fluffy tangerine clouds. Yes, fluffy tangerine clouds. I don't even know. I think I want to start my own rating system because of this. Yeah, fluffy tangerine clouds. The during would get like a 4 grizzly paws. Row, 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 row. That's 4, right? But the after would get like -1.5 at least. And that's so the during gets 4 out of 5, and then the after gets a -1.5. So I guess if you average it out, let's give it a 2.75 because the after really just is that bad. Yeah. So there you go. That's the story. This is the beer. Or rather, that was the beer. You know what? When it comes to working with people, I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but sooner or later, either you or they will leave, and sometimes you just gotta endure, and it sucks to endure. But if you really care for what you do and or like what you do, we gotta endure. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the story. Hope you cracked the cold one with me. If you want to try fluffy tangerine clouds, go for it. I'm probably, I'm kind of hoping they don't bring it back, or if they do, they'll say, hey, we managed to get rid of that The after, mostly. If they were to get rid of 3/4 of the after, I'd be okay with it. But the during is basically the only reason I was able to finish this. Anyways, all right, there you go. We can endure, even if it feels like you're trudging every once in a while. Stick figure, I'm talking to you. You can do it, bro. All right. That's it. Hope to see you next time on the next installment, episode, edition, whatever you want to call it. Grizz out.